human who's also on this self-improvement journey, you definitely throughout the journey have encountered some situations in which you thought to yourself like, wait a minute, I've worked on myself so much, I've practiced so much, and I meditated so much, and still I'm acting like how I would encounter such situations like 2 years ago? Oh my god. And you sometimes notice that some people who haven't even practiced as much as you have actually handle those situations better. And we don't know the secret to their success. Maybe it's their personality, maybe throughout their whole life they had practiced. But I found the key to how we can actually bring what we've practiced in meditations, in things we've read, in whatever wisdom we wanted to gain, and bring them actually to life. And it's really simple. It's about reminder. You need to remind yourself everything that you've learned. When things get tough, the only thing that you will remember is how tough the situation is, because your mind has been programmed into just pointing out and paying attention to whatever is hard and tough. But of course, when you pay more attention to the tough part will get more. So how are we going to make it less? Let's do the opposite. For example, one day I was feeling awful. I was like, nothing bad has happened, but why am I feeling so awful? I've worked on myself not to just suddenly lose energy randomly in the middle of the day. And actually that's some sign when you get in self-improvement journey. But anyway, suddenly I reminded myself every blessing that the day had for me, and I paid absolutely no attention to them. For example, on that day my mom had eye surgery, and suddenly I thought to myself like, Parmi, your mom had a really great successful eye surgery that you didn't even get worried. You were asleep throughout the whole time she was at the hospital, and when she came you got to take care of her. And sometimes we forget our blessings. So I realized that it's not about just practicing, reading, meditating. They are important, but they're not the main story. They wouldn't be complete if you don't actually bring them to life. But hey, you do realize that, for example, for a car to actually move, it needs gas, right? Well, for us to actually make use of our practices, our meditations, things we've learned and all that, just learning and knowledge is not enough for them to turn into wisdom. The activator of them to become wisdom, and for us to be able to bring them into life, to still keep our composure even when things get tough, is reminder. Yes, you might think to yourself, reminder? Wait, what? Yeah, reminder, because when fear and doubt and sadness and overall just negativity comes to us, we feel blind. The whole world becomes dark and we feel like we can't see anything despite the fact that they're all in front of us. So you've noticed that, for example, in a dark room, when you turn on the flashlight, suddenly you can see through the darkness, right? Same goes for reminders. It feels like a flashlight in the darkness. When everything is dark, when you cannot see anything, boom, it activates and you can actually see now. One of the best reminders that actually helps me a lot is blessings. Every day is filled with blessings. It's just that just because we've got used to them, we've got used to being blessed, we forget about them. But the tables can turn any moment. All we need to do is reminding ourselves the little blessings we've got. They're not little, actually. Just your own health. Just the fact that you can actually be alive is a big blessing. And when things get tough, I know it's also hard to pay attention to these and remember them, but that's the point. We need reminders. We need to remind ourselves of the good things. For example, how many times have you been in situations where you felt like you couldn't survive it? Where you felt like, oh my god, I don't think I'm gonna see tomorrow. I don't think I can get back to life like I was before. But suddenly 1 week passes or 1 day passes and you see yourself like, oh, I made it out alive. And it wasn't you alone. It was God, the universe, whatever you call it, that helped you. The universe is always with you. If only you be able to remind yourself that you are not alone on this journey, that actually good things are meant to happen to you, you wouldn't feel that way anymore. Or for example, when you're working hard and then you suddenly think of getting no result, of course the time is gonna pass really toughly in a tough way. But when you remind yourself that whatever picture that I have in my mind has not been there for no reason, so whatever I'm doing will pay off at the due time, and that's gonna bring out whatever burden that you had put on yourself. Like, trust me, it really works. Well, in between the video, I wanted to actually give you some extra reminders besides them. And number one is that whenever you realize that some people are trying to hurt you for no reason or say the most hurtful stuff to you, most case they are just jealous. So actually feel proud of yourself and hope them the best, wish them the best, and forgive them, because you get what I mean. Number two, self-improvement journey includes so much up and downs, and sometimes the ups are like this and the downs are like this, but it's worth it, okay? Remember, before you want to quit, just remember, worst case scenario is that you will still be the person you are now, so risk the up and downs and become even better than you are. Number three is that always make sure to be kind and loving towards people. If you need explanation, you can ask me, but just remember to be kind and loving. Number four, show up for yourself. If you told yourself you were gonna do something, do it. I know sometimes it's hard, sometimes you don't feel like doing anything, sometimes it just feels like not worth it to actually get up of bed and do things. But when you get up and show up for yourself, remind yourself that you are worth what you want and you are deserving of it. Also, times when you don't show up yourself, don't make yourself believe that, oh, I didn't show up for myself, so I'm not deserving and worthy of what I want. It just takes practice. So remember that what you do doesn't determine the worth and value you have, but when you do the thing that you said you were gonna do, your confidence is definitely gonna increase. And number five is to be really careful about what you consume. What do you read? What do you watch? What do you listen to? And what things do you pay attention to? And six is that happiness is created, not earned, and not given, and not gained. You build your own happiness. You create your own happiness, and you actually spread it to the whole world. If you're a happy person, your happiness can be felt in the room. Next, let go. Just let go of whatever you're holding on to. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make a separated video about this one reminder, but just remember to just let go. And lastly, love yourself and do things from a place of love. Don't, for example, work out because you hate your body. Work out because you feel like you're deserving of a better body. Work out because you love yourself so much that you want to work out to give yourself the desired body that you want. And there are billions of examples of it, but yeah, keep these reminders for yourself. I hope that they help you, and I'm sure that they will. Whenever you just feel like things are not like how they're supposed to be, when you feel off, and when you are wondering why, despite all the work I put on myself, I'm still not growing, dude, think of how you were in childhood. You now are somebody who can definitely protect that child. And just trust the process. Even when you were a child and you were growing, you had no idea that you were going to improve. You were just living your life, not paying attention to this stuff. So now be 100%, 110% sure that the future you is also a version of you that right now you would look up to, and believe that you are becoming them. I'm not gonna tell you this motivational stuff like, yeah, the harder it gets, the better it is. It's true, actually, because the harder it gets, it's not hard. It's challenging for you because you have never encountered such thing at this level and you were learning. Explaining it makes it less motivational, right? It makes it actually rational. And that's the point. We need to remind ourselves. I don't know, you can take a piece of rock, you can take a piece of paper, you can take a piece of anything you want and put it around you and mark it as a reminder. Like, for example, let's say if you grab this pen, say, whenever I look at this pen, I remember my blessings. Before you want to sleep, my cat is doing weird stuff. Before you go to sleep, remind yourself of how good your day was. One of the things that I always do before sleep is just closing my eyes for sometimes even just 10 seconds and remembering how my day went. You can see the tail, right? It's doing some weird stuff. How my day went and how I actually felt happy during the day. And even if I didn't feel happy, the lessons that I learned. Because in sadness, there are so many lessons. For example, let's say somebody hurt you. Okay, you learned the signs of somebody who would hurt you. So in future, you might not fall for it anymore. Everything has its own purpose. All we need is to remind ourselves, because you no longer would fall into the trap of fear, fall into the trap of uncertainty, feeling lost, because you remind yourself that you are number one, not alone, and two, yeah, you've had even worse, and you made it alive. Not just alive, but better, stronger, and cooler. So just trust the process, trust yourself, and learn that you can actually spend your energy on faith, on belief, and on positivity, you could say, than fear. And yeah, fear and doubt are actually the worst. And whenever fear and doubt comes to you, remind yourself of the times that you actually made it alive, even after fear. Okay? Remembering that you are not alone. Whenever you need something, whenever you need help, even when you feel like no one is there with you, someone out there is watching you. Not out there, actually, it's inside you, or whatever you call it. Someone is always watching you and is paying attention to you and wants the best for you. You realize sometimes when you thought like nobody could help you, suddenly somebody comes to you and says something that literally gets you out of the trouble. Or sometimes when you feel like nothing is gonna work out, suddenly some miracle happens and it works out. Well, you get what I mean. So yeah, when I was in war, and of course I was hearing rockets and I was scared, I called my uncle. My uncle helps me a lot with my self-improvement journey. I was like, dude, every time I'm at my best and I feel the greatest and strongest, suddenly some thoughts come to me that ruins whatever I built. And he told me that I need reminder. I need to remind myself of everything. This is what I've understood, actually. I wish I could remember the whole thing he said, but what I've understood is that we need to remind ourselves of the things that we cannot see when we are in tough times. Because in tough times, all you can see is the toughness. All you can see is how hard and challenging it is. But reminding yourself of things that are also in the situation, but you cannot see them with your eyes now, with your heart or whatever, reminding yourself of them will literally help you feel less fearful, feel less doubtful, and actually you will become fearless and you wouldn't doubt yourself anymore. And it is practice. Look, the main practice is not about reading, watching videos, meditating, this, Of course, when you're meditating, everything is silent. You've closed your eyes. It's the best moment. Of course, when you're reading a book, you have time. But when the situation is actually challenging, okay, that's when you can actually test yourself, and that's when you can level up. So remember, it's okay to feel down, it's okay to get doubts, it's okay to get even scared. but it's not okay to stay in that state. So make sure to remind yourself of everything that I've mentioned and even more. You do know more than I know. It's just that I'm trying to remind you of the truth of your life, of the goodness that you've forgotten. So if there's more actually that I've forgotten to mention, there definitely might be things that I've forgotten. Let me know in the comments. It's really gonna make me happy because it's also gonna help me to remember them and help myself better, thanks to you. So yeah, overall, I'm definitely sure that these reminders will help you make it out better and even enjoy the process more and feel more proud of yourself and make use of everything you've practiced, learned, read, meditated for, or heard even. So yeah, I believe in you. I'm sure that you can do it. Thank you so much for coming this far in this video, and also I hope you guys be doing awesome, feeling awesome, and having a wonderful time. I forgot to say in the first part of the video. Overall, love you guys so much. Say hello to my fellow friend. Well, say goodbye. See you next time. Mwah.